And even if society celebrates that, sometimes we have to push back, because just because society does it doesn't mean that society is right.
What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go.
What's going on, fellas? This is Coach Mike D, Mr. Double, down on you with another episode of Black Fathers Now. Now, look, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope you are making things happen, and I hope you are walking in purpose and being the full version of that person you are supposed to be. Because the world needs it, your families need it, but the reality is you need the benefit of you being the best version of yourself. You know, today I want to drop a thought for you all to think about, and it's with regard to life. The value of life. You know, I was pondering an analogy or an example, and I was thinking about something, and I was thinking about lights, you know, like light bulbs and Christmas lights and all of that. But I thought about those through the lens of life. But then I also thought about those through the lens of how society, especially Western society, pushes this concept of rugged individualism, where it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. You know, if you look at a lot of the narratives that get pushed to us, to our kids, to, you know, throughout society, is that I'm a boss. I'm the man. I'm doing this. It's all me. You hear the term self-made millionaires and self-made billionaires, and this person is the first this and the first that. And it's quite interesting, because what we end up doing, and it even goes back to like the Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey or whatever, we build this thing up where the goal is for you to become that individual hero. What's celebrated is this individualism. It's not the collective, it's not the group, it's not the team. It's the fact that you are the man. And it's interesting because narratives and messages like that get embedded into our psyche, and, you know, repetition's the mother of learning. So over time, you start to adopt that philosophy. I think I've shared this on previous episodes. One of my grandmothers, shout out to Mrs. Maxine Thurman. One of my grandmothers used to always say association leads to assimilation, meaning if you associate with something long enough, eventually you'll assimilate to it. And if you don't necessarily assimilate to it, you'll at least get desensitized to it. That's an add-on that I threw in there, because sometimes we don't always assimilate, but we at least get desensitized to it. So therefore, you know, I'm pretty much indifferent. But either way, it's still an issue. If you associate long enough, it has an impact on you. So if we get embedded with this rugged individualist, this individualized, individualistic mindset, it's all about me, me, that permeates our soul at its deepest level. And subconsciously, that becomes our desire. But then that's also how we view other people. Interesting, right? If you do it enough, if you're exposed to it enough, it ends up, you know, resonating inside of you really, really deeply. And I will say, you know, in addition to that, I am very much a fan of personal responsibility, right? I do understand that, you know, we are all individually gifted and skilled in particular areas. And, you know, there's personal responsibility that we have to take. And, you know, it's interesting. I had an interview not long ago with my firearms instructor, you know, shout out, you know, to JoJo Huckabee, or retired detective JoJo Huckabee. He mentioned and he stated that you can delegate authority, but you can't delegate responsibility. And that resonated with me. I get it, right? We have to take responsibility. We have to, be self-aware. We have to understand where we're gifted, skilled, talented. We also understand that when it comes to leadership, at times you have to make tough decisions on behalf of those that you are charged with leading. You have to take action. So sometimes you do have to take individual action, and there's a connection there. But the thing is, the ultimate goal is not this me, I. I am not at the center of the universe. And so I mentioned earlier the example of lights and thinking about lights in life. And I think about like a light bulb, right? A light bulb typically in your house is connected to like one circuit, right? So when your light bulb goes off, or when the light bulb goes out, the other lights in your home still work. You just go and change that light bulb. It's of minimal consequence, right? You just go change the light bulb and keep it moving. Everything else is fine. But I thought about that, and then I thought about the concept of Christmas lights. And I don't know if all Christmas lights are like this, but I can remember at times when Christmas lights wouldn't work properly. And you came to find out that your Christmas lights weren't working properly because one of the bulbs in that string of lights was out, because they were all connected to the same circuit. So when one bulb of the Christmas lights was out, everything was impacted because they were all connected. See, and it was interesting, that example dropped in my spirit. I think God was saying, Mike, you need to drop something on this. Because the thing that's interesting about it, if we view people like that individual light bulb connected to one circuit, then it's interesting if something happens to that person. Yes, it makes it dark in one area, but we can easily replace that because it's only connected to one circuit. But if we look at people kind of like the Christmas lights, where they're all connected together, if one light goes out, we're all impacted. And so for me, it helps to increase the value of life and increase the value of our brothers and sisters if we can start to view them not as these individual light bulbs, but as a bulb connected to a string of lights, because each individual person is connected to an ecosystem, right? So even that individual that you deem to be a monumental success, they're standing on the shoulders of giants. They have families connected to them. They have friends and people who've supported, and they've had folks who lay the groundwork. They have a team of advisors. You may be reading your favorite celebrity's book only to understand and realize that they had a ghostwriter that actually wrote the book. They sat there and, recorded the audio of their thoughts, and a ghostwriter put all the thoughts together, even though the celebrity's name is on the front of the book. So it's interesting. This thing is not a solo journey. We don't live life in isolation on an island. We're connected. We're connected. And I believe the way that God put us here is for us to connect, for us to build relationships. Because now when we leave Earth, when we're done, then yeah, we're on our solo journey again back to God. But when we stop and we really think about it, while we're here, we're supposed to be connected to other people. And so this whole concept of rugged individualism, yes, again, personal responsibility. You have gifts and talents, skills. You have unique things that you're supposed to do in the world. But the reality is this is not a solo journey. And so when we think about valuing life, I think we need to start looking at our brothers and sisters. We need to start looking at other people as being parts of this string of Christmas lights versus this individual light bulb that can easily be changed. Because the reality is we're all connected. And I think this is something that we have to embed in our kids as well. That the actions that we take impact not just us, but all those that are connected to us, good and bad. So when I win, guess what? Everybody wins. Everybody connected to me wins. When I make a boneheaded decision, you know what? It might bring shame on everybody that's connected to me. Think about that. We're all connected. Now, that doesn't absolve us of responsibility, right? Because we still have to take responsibility. Again, you can delegate authority. You cannot delegate responsibility, like my man, retired Detective Jojo Huckabee stated. But the thing is, we have to start viewing people and understanding it's not what you see in front of you is not just this person. What you're seeing is an ecosystem. And to me, that analogy or that example of the light bulb and the string of Christmas lights tells that in a way that makes the most sense. I mean, even it's funny, even to the whole notion of like when I got married. So when we got married back in 2009, I remember numerous, advisors and people always emphasize that you don't marry a person, you actually are marrying their family. And that always resonated with me because it's true. You're not just marrying that person, you marry that person and whoever they're connected to. It's an interesting phenomenon. But again, it's challenging, and we have to be conscious about this because the narratives that get pushed down through us, through media, through society, through whatever, are that it's all about the rugged individualism. It's all about rugged individualism. It's all about you. It's all about you being the boss, you being the man. You do this all by yourself. You're self-made, and that's what we celebrate. And even if society celebrates that, sometimes we have to push back because just because society does it doesn't mean that society is right. All right. So again, look to your left, look to your right. Think about that person you're interacting with and realize that that person is not an individual light bulb. They're a bulb on this string of Christmas lights connected to a whole ecosystem. All right. Well, I hope this resonates with you, and let me know what you think about this, man. Share this one out. Share it with some young folks, man. Share it with your peers and open up some discussions about the value of life and the challenge of this rugged individualist mindset that gets pushed down through us and how that runs contrary to, the African proverb of it takes a whole village to raise a child. That means this whole village is a part of that child's life. It runs contrary to that. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, man. Continue to share this thing out. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.
Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always, always, always visit blackfathersnow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.